Welcome to Xavier on Fire, Xavier University's Gift and Communication Department's Public Affairs program. Xavier on Fire explores issues that are important to our campus, our community, and our world. I'm your host, Lauren McAllister. This week's show invites Dr. Leslie Rasmussen, Professor of Communication at Xavier University. Dr. Rasmussen teaches and studies public relations and has become an expert on the messaging and meaning behind the popularity of Taylor Swift. Today's program will focus on the importance and influence behind the Swifties phenomenon and how it carries in our culture. Welcome to today's show, Dr. Rasmussen.
Hi, thanks for having me. And feel free to call me Leslie.
Leslie, have you ever been on a show like this before?
I have, but it's been a while, so I'm pretty excited to be doing one again.
We're excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
So, Leslie, you are a self-proclaimed Swiftie. Can you tell us about how you got to that community?
I am a Swiftie. I've always, known who Taylor Swift was, but like a lot of people, I grew to appreciate her music and her talent as it evolved, and she grew up, and just her storytelling and her music became more relatable for me, and that sort of thing. And the Red album was really powerful and kind of knocked me on my feet. Really, I thought, wow, this is such a talent. The storytelling is it for me. And that's it. It was all downhill from there. So.
Wow. So she just released a new album. Do you like it? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, the Tortured Poets Department. It's a great album. It's very cerebral. That's how I describe it. It requires almost some critical thinking. You have to listen to it a few times. It truly takes you on an emotional journey. And some of the songs on there are just so guttural and heartbreaking. And then you get to songs like So High School, and it really is kind of a profound message of, look how depressed and heartbroken this woman was 6 months ago, a year ago, and now we're getting songs like So High School and seeing this love story with her and Travis Kelce play out. And again, it's just this emotional journey. Yeah.
Wow.
It's great. So I love it, basically. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, in your opinion, what does it mean to be a Swiftie?
I think being part of the Swiftie community and being a Swiftie is really just about empowerment and lifting others up, being your authentic self, being true to who you are, being just proud to be full of joy and excitement. And it's just feels good, When I was at the Eras Tour and I saw this comment a lot online as well, there was just joy and a sense of safety even, being surrounded by all of these people who are just excited and happy and want us all to just be who we are, basically. And I don't know, that's just like a really beautiful sentiment, I think.
That is a beautiful sentiment. So, what is your favorite era?
It really ebbs and flows. It kind of depends on where I'm at in my life at the moment, or maybe I have a bad day. My favorite one at the moment is Red. Reputation, actually. I'm very much feeling the new album as well, but as I said, extremely emotional. So I'll hop back over to 1989 and get the bops to lift the spirits. So again, that ebb and flow of whatever you're feeling, there's an era for it. Right now, definitely Reputation is top of my list for sure.
Why do you think Taylor Swift has risen in popularity over the last 17 years?
I think because we've seen her grow up, basically, and her talent has evolved. And as society and audiences were watching this child essentially grow into a woman, and part of that is seeing her relationship dynamics with friends, famous friends, and also romantic partners and all of that. So just seeing again this evolution of a child into a woman, and for so many years, seeing her story, and then we're seeing her story, and then she's also telling her story in this really unique and powerful way through her lyrics and writing. So it's easy to get invested and care about her and her journey because we're watching it, and we have been for 17 years.
Right. We've been riding with her along the way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Social media has changed the interaction between celebrities and their fans. How do you think this has played out with Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift is a master at this, actually. And as I said, the parasocial relationship is imbalanced, right? But she speaks to her fans in a way that makes you feel like she is talking to me, or there are these coded messages that she's dropping for me to go find. And so she's really, really great at not just this top-down communication, right? Like, I'm not just giving out information. She presents things online and social media as her authentic self. Like, she comes across as an authentic person and presents information and dialogue with fans in a way that is so easy and natural, and it feels like she is actually talking to them. You don't always get that with every celebrity that's on social media. And so I think that's something that's special, and she's really great at as well.
This has been such a great conversation, but we need to pause for a minute to hear from one of our sponsors. Welcome back. We are talking with Leslie from Xavier University's Communication Department about the Swiftie influence on our culture. This has been very interesting, so let's continue. You were recently interviewed by Kimmy Robinson with USA Today, and you were quoted several times about Taylor Swift and also referring to her as having the Midas touch. Can you explain what you meant by this and give us some examples?
Sure. So the power of Taylor Swift, really kind of touches on what she does with her influence. So sometimes it's, bringing awareness to a particular issue. Other times it's traveling from city to city on her tour and giving, $100,000 to the food banks there, or doing other things for the organizations that exist around the cities that she's in. And also, she has channeled her power and influence for politics as well. So while it is known how she leans, she hasn't necessarily come out and said, you should be voting this way or endorsing a particular person or issue, but she has come out and said, it's really important that you register to vote, and here's the link. And she crashed the Tennessee, voter registration website once or twice, and it happened a second time not long ago as well. So, and to be clear, I don't think she has influence over making a Republican vote for a Democrat or a Democrat vote for a Republican, but she does seem to have the power to get people to register to vote. And then the next step is getting them out to vote, actually to the polls or absentee, whatever that will be. So there's great power and influence there. And we're seeing her, use that in ways, we have actually seen her use that in ways that she hadn't ever really over the last couple of years, which is cool to see. It really is. And then the Midas touch, I just mean everything that woman touches turns to gold. You can't think you think she cannot possibly break another record, and she does. And, in a lot of ways, even her relationship with Travis Kelce is like this magical thing that we're seeing. It seems like a movie, and we're watching it play out. So it's just, she's just truly at the height of her career, and yet she keeps getting higher. So yeah, it's wild, actually.
Exactly. So with her being on the top of her career, why would we care about her and Kelce?
Because back to the earlier point of parasocial relationship, right? Like, we've seen her grow up. We've seen her through the trials and tribulations of her love life, the John Mayer saga, the, Jake Gyllenhaal and Harry Styles, these really high profile relationships that we see online, but then we get the album and we get these really sometimes powerful and guttural songs like All Too Well 10-minute version, where, all right, now we all hate Jake Gyllenhaal because, oh my gosh, that song is so powerful and telling the story of their relationship. So that investment keeps growing.
Right.
And so she's doing all these wonderful things. We also want to see that personal side of her thrive as well. It all kind of works together and builds together. And so, and you throw in the fact that it's not just happiness, but it's happiness with this man that is incredibly successful in his own right. And, you know,
we love to see her be happy and successful, but why are there so many people that dislike the relationship and have an issue with it?
I mean, I think there are people that are just contrarians in general. If everybody's excited about something, then they're going to not be excited about it. And Taylor Swift has this, you know, very famous quote where she said, you know, the worst kind of people are the people that make you feel bad for being excited about something, you know, and it's really just truly about letting people be their authentic selves and have their joy, whatever their joy is. And I understand the argument that maybe there's some oversaturation of this story, but change the channel.
Annoyed with like their cuddling, seeing them
change the channel. Change the channel. Scroll on by. You know, it's really not that deep.
Travis was also taking some criticism with this relationship.
He has, and he has handled it in stride. You know, he just seems to laugh it off and is like, you know what, we're just living and having fun. And
he's happy.
Yeah, you know, and he seems unbothered by it, which is really great to see because she has been so hidden for so long. And again, back to this idea of like both of them just being their authentic selves and living their lives.
Right. You mentioned on the Newsworthy podcast a while back that there is a similarity between Swifties and NFL fans. Can you explain this?
Yeah, this is so funny to me because part of the Eras Tour is, you know, people going in outfits that represent the era that, you know, they're most connected to or they're excited about. And, you know, many men and NFL players were, not NFL players, but NFL fans were sort of mocking this idea of getting dressed up to go to the Eras Tour. They did it for the Barbie movie too, you know, when women were dressing up in pink to go watch the Barbie movie. But that's not any different than their fandom playing out when they put on another man's work uniform, their jersey, and then go to their job and watch them perform their sport. So it's all fandom. It's just in different contexts, and one is not worse or better than the other. So there are parallels right there, and you know, we got to point it out sometimes.
Exactly. In closing, will you talk about examples of Taylor Swift and the greater good, and what is ahead for the star moving forward, and anything else you would like to mention?
You know, in terms of the greater good, we've talked about the good deeds that she does, right? You know, whether it's, you know, donating to the food banks, empowering her employees, that sort of thing. But I think Taylor Swift, as just living her life and as her authentic self, and it is truly a role model in that, you know, and in empowerment. And she has really kind of come into her own over the last like 5 years of standing up for herself and standing up for others. And I think that's an incredible gift to give to the greater good when she carries so much power and influence from younger generations to older generations. And so there's a lot of different ways to look at that. And for me, that's probably the most important of being able to be a woman that can stand up for herself and see that, you know, I can call out the misogyny or call out these other things, and I'm not unhinged. I simply have feelings or an opinion, and that is acceptable. And that is, it is absolutely wonderful to see, you know, somebody of her magnitude empowering people in that way, and that all adds to the greater good. And as far as anything else I want to add, I would say if you have not listened to the Tortured Poets Department, definitely check it out. Grab a Kleenex, like a whole box of them, and just be ready for the journey, because it's a journey.
I'll definitely pick up my box. I would like to thank Leslie for joining us today on Xavier on Fire, talking about the popularity and importance of Taylor Swift in popular culture. I'm Laura McAllister, and as always, we encourage you to do your part to go out and set the world on fire. Thank you for joining us.